Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and we are talking about the Scorpio or ENFP now. So let's get back to the page we ended up off at. Hopefully, I can do that gracefully this time. All right, so we are talking about Scorpio representing the middle of fall season. So, fall is the time where we are reaping what we sowed or planted in Taurus season in the second house. The second house represents I am. So, in spring, we plant the seeds, and Scorpio season is fall, where we are harvesting what we planted. We need to be sure to appreciate the process of life through death in every stage, even in the endings where we have the most fear of the unknown. It's a deep reminder of the full circle of life and that we will turn back or go back into what or where we came from. The house system that created the first through the 12th archetypes in astrology reminds us of the seasons, cycles, and transitions of the universe, the world, our communities, and our individual selves as we transition from birth to the afterlife. The first through the seventh houses are processes of understanding our individual selves through others or through external experiences, while the 8th through the 12th houses are more about going internal and focusing on transcending the physical plane for a more spiritually enlightened consciousness, and eventually either reincarnating to start the process over again or to actually be your own creator. We came from the darkness of the womb and will return to the darkness of earth in the higher planes. We should not fear the darkness or unknown, though. Just as the ego has been demonized by Western high society, as such, the darkness, feminine, yin, behind the scenes occult, dreams, creation, imagination, and the unseen realm has also been demonized. Fall is the start of the darker, cold, and detached in a way season. We have long ago lost the meaning of darkness and internal reflection or going in to go without. The lighter, warmer seasons are the more in the material realm of what is seen and can be easy to get lost into, or where we can tend to lose ourselves. We are born with forgetting who we are and must strive a quarter or more, like half of our lifetime, trying to understand ourselves through others. At one point, we begin to be pulled where to remember we are more than our physical bodies, emotions, and mental cognition or relationships, and how we are pulled in every direction by expectations, guilt, indoctrinations, etc. In knowing ourselves, we can then begin to understand others better. We start to see behind people's actions, words, and feelings into the deeper recesses of their psyche, spirit, and soul, where we suddenly realize we are more than our body on autopilot. That there is an unseen, unconscious, and subconscious side of our existence as well as others. We begin to tune into that which travels faster than light, the all-encompassing interconnectedness, the higher realms and vibrational waves above the 3D physical plane. We realize our bodies are just vessels for our spirits, thoughts and feelings and soul. All that has come before in frequencies, vibrations, and waves that are us. We begin to work with these things and realize there's another form of travel that doesn't have anything to do with physical material plane existence. We can astral travel, lucid dream, imagine the new worlds, and transform our higher energies, which is linked to our physical body, but not forever. Our soul will continue on after this physical life is over with. Scorpio not only represents the fall season, or the fall of the old, but also represents the rising of the new through deep alchemical transformations that happens internally. The phoenix rising from the ashes means we are invested in creating a whole new world through a whole new us. It begins with the chi life force that rises from the base of our spine through all our chakra systems or wheels into the deeper connection and knowingness within ourselves and thus others. Afterwards, we are in tune and can see energy signatures with our new eyes. We now realize the order of astronomy, astrology, and anatomy. If we get stuck in a worldview, we will be lost to spirit. If we are rich in spirit, we can connect to others that are also rich in spirit and gain a higher or true balanced order, plus restore order. Fall season in the Scorpio archetype reminds us that we must invest in knowing the order or knowing the way so that we may sustain through the periods of harsh conditions currently facing us and upcoming. We must become our own magicians through understanding our own order and power. Through our own power, we create a new life and understanding in how to do so regardless of our continued falls or fails. We are now turning inside ourselves through the darkness. And through the darkness, there shall be wisdom, mastery, and eventually collective strength through advocating and helping those through the same process. Through personal strength gains collective strength. It's the understanding of the internal world and having to fall away from outside influences. Relying on yourself in the darkest hours. We become the warrior of the night with higher senses in the intuitive, unexplainable realm, quietly calculating every shift with technique, where we understand what we are truly made of and capable of from the inside out. When we become the most potent, do we believe in ourselves in our darkest hours, even up to the last second? Can we hold ourselves together in the cold of the night? Can we remember the process in order so that we may do it all again? Not only seeing into your personal power, but conducting it, feeling it, wielding it, and increasing it at will at any time. Progress won't be able to come without chaos. You either have it or you don't. The underground work. Afterwards, will you be able to gain foundational stability again while tying it all together? We will need some sort of systematic way out, but then we will also be able to get back in. The darkness always travels faster than the light. That is the power. If you can survive there, you can survive anywhere. Then it becomes not about survival, but of wielded power that you may cast or build and train in others. With contraction comes expansion. If we let our fear take over, we will try to escape this descent, which only pushes us further away from ourselves, others, and the truth of our own power. Scorpio is the nucleus and life force. Do realize we travel in the higher realms and create based on our state of being or consciousness. We need to see in the dark through visualization, imagination, faith, and belief. It's all about technique rather than force here. Golly, that was super deep. That was really poetic. I cannot help myself. All right. Scorpio, the middle of fall, represents the descent, the nucleus, the life force, and rebirth engine. Scorpio stands at the center of fall, not the beginning, Libra, or the end, Sagittarius, but the deep point, the alchemical chamber, the moment where life officially turns inward. Fall is a season where we reap everything we planted in Taurus season. Taurus says, I have. Scorpio says, and now what must die, transform, composed, and return to source so the next version of you can be born. This is a reminder that every cycle includes a descent, and that the descent is not failure, it is a requirement for power. Fall, the descent into the inner world. In the zodiacal house system, the 1st through the 12th, we watch the soul leave the womb, explore identity, build relationships, climb the outer world, and then around the 7th and 8th house, something shifts. The outer world stops being enough. The psyche begins turning inward, remembering you did not originate in light, you originated in darkness, the 8th house. Darkness of the womb, darkness of the quantum void, of the subconscious, of the astral, of the earth itself. Darkness of the cosmic womb where consciousness is forged. Modern culture demonized darkness, the feminine, the yin realms, and the unseen. But fall was always the sacred season where humanity turned inward to remember the truth. Without darkness, there is no imagination, no dreaming, no creation, no magic. And Scorpio is the master of that descent. Why the descent is required for power. You incarnate forgetting who you are. You spend the first half of life learning yourself through others. Family expectations, relational mirrors, external validation, and ego development. Social identity and karmic contracts. Then the Scorpio stage arrives and pulls you back into the underworld of your own psyche. This is where you begin realizing you are more than a physical body. You are more than emotion. You are more than intellect, more than relationships, more than trauma and conditioning. And you are more than the story you inherited. You begin to see with your higher eyes, the eyes that see energy signatures, subconscious motives, and soul contracts. Karmic loops, hidden truth in people, and the inner connectedness behind everything. This is the initiation into the occult reality, the hidden order behind the world. Scorpio teaches the order of astronomy, astrology, and anatomy. As above, so below, as within, so without. As the soul, so the cells. What Scorpio actually represents. Scorpio is the moment where old identities are shed, outdated emotional structures collapse. Survival instincts become spiritual instincts, trauma becomes transmutation, endings become rebirth, the ego dies so the soul can rise. The darkness becomes your teacher, the unseen becomes your clarity. Scorpio is the nucleus of life, the life force that exists before form. It is the understanding of power at its most raw truth. Not force, not dominance, not external control, but inner potency, the ability to travel through the dark without losing yourself. The Phoenix Code, rise by first descending. Every Scorpio initiation begins with descent, pressure, stripping, isolation, ego death, emotional extremity, and psychological breaking points. Because that is where your technique is forged. Scorpio teaches technique beats force. That is like, I'm an Aries rising, and so I can be like pretty impatient. And my most favorite saying is it's about technique, not force. So I'm more of the masculine side of Mars. Scorpio is the more feminine side of Mars, but we can both be kind of impatient. And so we can tend to be forceful. And so it's all about technique, not force. It's like one of my most favorite sayings. All right, so Scorpio teaches technique beats force. Ascent requires descent. Power requires pressure, and mastery requires darkness. The phoenix is not a symbol of being reborn. It is the symbol of someone who chose to walk into the fire on purpose. What Scorpio asks, the warrior of the night. Fallen Scorpio asks the initiate, can you hold yourself in the cold? Can you remember the order even when everything collapses? Can you survive the dark long enough to understand it? Can you believe in yourself at your lowest? Can you rely on your own psyche without external input? Can you create light with your own life force? Can you turn chaos into structure from the inside out? If you can do this, you become unshakable, unfollowable, unmanipulatable, sovereign, intuitive beyond logic, powerful enough to lead others through the dark. This is why Scorpio is feared, not because Scorpio is dangerous, but because Scorpio knows the parts of reality others avoid. Scorpio, the creator after the death. Once the descent is mastered, your chi rises, your chakras align, your intuition becomes direction, not noise. Your imagination becomes manifestation, your shadow becomes power, your trauma becomes skill, your will becomes magic, and your energy becomes influence. You become the magician of your own life. Scorpios are known as the magician and the alchemist. I absolutely love this stuff. You become the one who can rebuild the foundation, tie all the threads together, and walk both the world of form and the world of spirit. My Pluto and Scorpio certainly screams underwater. Underwater Panther, the underworld, traveling between worlds, the bridge between the darkness and the light. All right. Scorpio's esoteric warning. Fear interrupts the descent. Avoidance prolongs the suffering. Resistance creates chaos. If you try to escape the Scorpio fall, you lose yourself, you repeat karmic loops, you get stuck in old emotional patterns, you disconnect from your own power, you lose the ability to transmute. You remain in survival mode instead of transformation mode. When you submit to the descent, you unlock the mastery that most people will never access. The final truth: darkness travels faster than light. Science says darkness is the absence of photons, but esoterically, darkness is the field through which all creation occurs. It is faster, more intelligent, and more responsive than light. It is the origin point. If you can navigate the realm where things move faster than light, you can create anything. Scorpio is the archetype that teaches this power. Once you master the night, you are unstoppable in the day. All right, so I'm going to get into the masculine and the feminine in the next video. That is a long section in itself. So I hope you enjoyed this video talking about Scorpio representing the middle of fall season. Each archetype certainly represents a season, whether that be the transition, the fixated point, or the beginning. So, anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment about your thoughts and feelings. If you're interested in this book, you can find it in the description box below, and I will see you on the other side.